Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Shootin' from the Stache. I'm your host, Brandon. I'm the owner, operator, and artist behind Desperado Metal Designs. And since around 2015, I have been making handmade jewelry. And since then, I've started making t-shirts and hats and all that cool stuff. Started booking shows, started traveling around, started my own website, started doing all the social media things, hitting all those spots. And I've over the years, I've gotten a lot of questions about, what it is that I do. Um, all different types of questions, all different types of topics. But the number one question I get more than anything is how did I get started? And normally I give a pretty simple answer to that, depending on where I'm at. Just because it's kind of a long story. Um, but today I'm going to give you the long version. But first, let's hit that intro. So, let's jump right into it. If you had asked me a long time ago when I was a kid what I wanted to grow up and be, I don't think I would have said a jewelry maker or, a business owner per se, anything like that. I don't think that would have been my answer. I know exactly what my answer would have been when I was younger, which would have been a professional wrestler. Specifically Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's who I wanted to be. Not a copy. I wanted to be him. And when I was younger, you could not have told me that I was going to be anything but a pro wrestler. The years went on. I got a little bit older. Started getting out of the professional wrestling thing, which I'll admit I'm not completely out of now. I still go back and watch stuff from time to time, especially the older stuff. Love to get my nostalgia back on. But around the age 14, 15 maybe, I decided that I wanted to try my hand at playing guitar. That was what I wanted to get into. And, I did get into that. As soon as I started discovering bands like Green Day, Blink-182, stuff like that, that's what got me started. And then, I really got into heavy metal music and I was all in. I practiced hours and hours and hours a day. I had a goal. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be a multi-instrumentalist and make my own demos and stuff like that. And I really thought I was on my way. But, life kind of happens. You start to realize that, certain things just aren't working out. And I got real discouraged and just kind of took a break from it. Which I do still enjoy playing the drums and playing guitar, but I definitely took a long hiatus and just kind of gave up on that dream. So let's fast forward a little bit. I was in my early 20s and I was in a long-term relationship, one that had lasted way longer than it should have. Things definitely did not work out, thank God. But at the time, I didn't see that. And I was just kind of at a weird crossroads. The music thing wasn't working out. I was working a job that I absolutely hated, a relationship that had completely fell through. Ended up, losing the place that I was staying at, had to move back home. Everything that could happen was just kind of like hitting me all at once. And I was in a really, really dark place. And I just had to find a way to get out of that. So, I searched around, just trying to find any kind of distraction that I could. I started playing music a little bit more, but it just wasn't the same as it was before. I knew that ship had sailed and it just wasn't what it was going to be. So I was just looking for something else. And I don't really honestly know what gave me the idea outside of I had some rings and stuff that I wore. I always wore like, skull and biker rings and stuff like that. I always had like a couple here and there. I had a really close friend that me and him would always go to like the local flea market and buy up all the rings that, the we called him the biker man that he would always sell there. I never really was like a class ring kind of guy, but you give me a cool skull ring or something that resembled like a biker style, I was all in. And I was just kind of scrolling around Instagram, and I had ran across a couple of jewelry makers that just made some really cool stuff, but it wasn't a metal that I'd really seen before. Like I knew what sterling silver was. I knew what stainless steel and gold and stuff like that, but this was a little different. It had a little bit more edge to it. And when I started researching, I realized that they were using a metal called pewter. And I looked into it a little bit more, and for some reason I just got it in my head like, I wonder if I could make this. I wonder if I could try my hand at this. I've always been kind of artsy and stuff like that. I just never really thought about it as like a career type deal or how I could use any of that stuff. Anyways, once I got it in my head that I was gonna, try my hand at this and see if I could make my own piece of jewelry, it was solely just for me to have something to do to kind of get my mind off of everything and really just have something cool that I've made myself. So I researched and I got like little pieces of information here and there and nothing really specific to what I was trying to do. But I thought, well, I could take this idea and use it here, and I could take this idea and use it there. And if I just kind of put all these pieces together, maybe I could just make something work. And with a lot of trial and error, I was finally able to put together something that resembled a ring. And I will put a picture right here to kind of show you, what my very first piece was. It was rough. Definitely needed a lot of improvement, but I was so excited to have something that actually panned out and worked. And even as rough as it was, I was still able to wear it, and I wore that thing everywhere. Wore it to my job. I slept in it. I don't think I ever took the thing off. If I did, it was only to wash my hands or shower, and it went right back on. I definitely got my use out of it. Once I got the first ring nailed down, it was a little simpler design, and I knew I had a lot of improvement to do. So I decided, I would do something that would have a little bit more detail, a little bit more edge to it. And I made the second ring, which definitely had a lot more detail, and the ring circumference was actually more circular. It wasn't all wonky and stuff like that. And that one worked out really well. I really liked how that one came out. And then I decided that I would try to make my own sugar skull ring. I've always been a big fan of sugar skulls. I love the meaning behind them, the actual tradition. Love all that stuff. Seen a couple of cool ones, had a couple of cheapies that I'd purchased before, and decided this is perfect. I can make my own signature ring with my details, my design, everything how I want. I can make it my way. And that's exactly what I did. It took me a really long time to get the design down, but I finally got it to where I wanted it. And, I made it and started wearing that thing everywhere. I'd actually made that specific ring for myself as a birthday present that year, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Couldn't be happier. Really made a jump in the details and just the overall idea of making a ring. Everything was kind of coming together. I was, kind of hitting on all cylinders, and it just worked out really great. And this is what that one ended up looking like. I'll put a picture here so you all can see that. So, again, we'll fast forward a little bit. I had a few rings under my belt. Still, it was just completely for my own, my own benefit, my own fashion. Had no idea of trying to turn it into a business or anything like that. But I definitely wore my rings everywhere. And I was very proud to tell people when they asked me, where'd you get that from? I made it myself. This one particular weekend, me and a friend had went to a mall. We wander into a Hot Topic. I always like going in there looking for band t-shirts and horror movie stuff. I ended up buying a t-shirt or something, and we're both kind of standing there waiting to pay. When it's our turn, we step up, and there's a person standing behind the counter, and as they're ringing us up, they happen to look down, very nonchalantly and say like, "Wow, that's a really cool ring." And I happen to be wearing my Sugar Skull ring, and the person said, like, "Wow, where'd you get that from?" And of course, I had it locked and loaded. I was like, "Well, I actually made this myself." And I think she thought I was joking because they said, "Did you say you made that yourself?" And I said, "Yeah, I actually made this myself." And she goes, "Oh, that's cool. So you're like a jewelry person?" And I said, "No, not really." And she said, "Oh, so you don't sell those?" And I said, "No, I just kind of made it for myself." And she goes, "Wow, you should really consider selling those. Like, if you had those in a store or if I'd seen that somewhere, I totally would have bought one." And like, that's when it clicked. Oh, so I'm not the only one that enjoys the stuff that I make. Maybe there is something more to this. Maybe it is more than just, a hobby or something to, keep me occupied. And I thought, I'll give that a shot. Why not? Like, that's really cool. I never really thought about that as a business idea or something that I could do to make any money or anything, but that is exactly where the journey started. As soon as that person said that to me, I walked out of that store and it was kind of like an epiphany. Like, it just hit me. Like, I've been looking for a long time, trying to find like my space, trying to find like my spot in life. That's something that I thought about from a very young age. I always knew that I wasn't going to be a police officer, firefighter, a lawyer, a contractor. I knew just a regular 9 to 5 would never make me happy. Like, that's just not what I see myself doing forever. Never has been. I knew that there was just something different and something more that I could call my own, and it would fit in, and that would be my space. Like, that's my path. And there's obviously absolutely nothing wrong with any of those other careers. It's just one of those things where I just knew, like, that's just not for me. There's just something else out there. I know there is. From the town that I grew up in, it's a small town. Everybody's go to college, get a degree, try to find you an office job. If not, there's always like factory work or something like that you can do, which, again, nothing wrong with that. I did go to college. I did get some degrees, didn't do anything with them. The college path just didn't quite work out for me. Like I said, I did get some degrees and some certificates and stuff like that, but just never put them to use. I knew that a normal 9 to 5 just was not going to work. I just wouldn't be happy with that. Once that was given to me as an option, or, kind of presented to me as an option, I knew, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I can have my artistic freedom. I can make cool stuff. I can build off of that. I can eventually, slide my music in there from time to time. It just really opened a door to just so many possibilities. And it just got me really excited. And that's really, truly what just kind of like gave me a second life. And that was around 2015. And fast forward to today, I'm still trying to chase that. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to do stuff dealing with Desperado Metal Designs. Like, I want that to be my full-time job. As it stands right now, I still work a normal job. I still travel and do my shows. I'm still the one-man show for Desperado Metal Designs. I'm still the one that designs the hats, prints them, designs the shirt, prints them. I'm the one that comes up with the ring designs, makes them. I send them out if you place an order. I'm still very much a one-man show. When I book shows and travel, I do get lucky from time to time, but I've definitely done my fair share of doing shows by myself, which is definitely challenging, but, can be super rewarding at the same time. So no complaints here. Everything's just kind of come full circle. I'm definitely not where I want to be, but when I really sit and think like how I got started, with what I got started to what I've grown and built it into today, all the different countries and different states and stuff that I've, shipped rings and necklaces and shirts and hats and stuff to, like I'm super thankful for anyone that's ever purchased anything from me or shown me any kind of support, because I had no clue that this would turn into anything. This was just a way to get my mind off of, certain things, get me out of a dark place, and it definitely has. So I'm super thankful, but I still feel like, almost 10 years later, at least at the time of filming this, almost 10 years later, and I'm still like kind of just getting started. So I guess just kind of in closing, I really wish I could run into that person that gave me the idea, or just kind of planted that seed that I could do more with my jewelry and stuff like that than what I ever imagined. I just really want to say thank you to that person. And on top of that, thank you to anyone that's ever supported what I do in any way, shape, or form. It really does mean a lot. It is definitely nothing that I expected, but it's an awesome surprise. To anybody out there that has an idea of, starting a business or selling their art or sharing their music or anything in that space, just know that if you try hard enough and you keep showing up, you will get recognized. I'm still trying to do this to where I don't have to work a full-time job plus do this on the side. I would definitely rather be doing, what I love to do as a full-time gig. But for anybody that has, like a goal or a dream or anything like that, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for myself. I'm rooting for you. I want to see people that have something kind of out of the box. I want to see them succeed. If they really, truly put in the time, effort, and all of that stuff, I believe that they can do whatever they want to do. You just got to have the determination to just keep pushing forward. Hopefully you've gotten something out of that story. Like I said, it's definitely the long answer to a short question, but that's the real answer. So if you ever hear the short version, just know the long answer's out there. It's just, where I'm at or whatever I'm doing. I just have my short response to throw out there. It's not that it's untrue. It's just the shortened version. But I sincerely want to thank everyone that's watched this. Shout out my boys from the Low Down Dirty for giving me that cool intro music. Thank you to anyone that's made it this far. I want to say thank you to anyone that's ever supported me. I truly, truly appreciate all the support that I ever get, whether it be small, big. It's all great to me. Thank you very much. Hopefully you'll stick around for some more episodes. I have plenty of stories to share, some crazy experiences, and things that I think you'll get a kick out of. Until next time, I'm Brandon, Desperado Metal Designs, and this is Shootin' from the Stache. Cheers.